Scanning for audio.
Welcome to a Tin Dog podcast. This time talking about Philip Hinchcliffe Presents Volume 2, The Genesis Chamber. Now, for those of us out there of a certain age, to many of us, Philip Hinchcliffe's time running Doctor Who, let's use the word showrunner rather than producer or anything like that, it gets a bit complicated. Guiding force represents the highlight of Tom Baker's time on the show. And, as such, represents, well, the highlight of the entirety of Doctor Who. So, are the Philip Hinchcliffe Presents stories ones he's chosen, ones he's found, ones he's written, or ones that needed adapting? Stories he brought to the table? Well, as this one's been written by Marc Platt, someone who always manages to produce some great work, let's just assume that as a producer of this, he's brought these to the table and has controlled the performances of Tom and Leela. Oh, well, let's do the Fourth Doctor and Leela. You know, Louise Jameson, you know that it's like not real. It doesn't matter. Either way, here we've got Volume 2. Now, unlike Volume 1, this is just one story. 6 episodes. Yes, the rabbit ears are on show at this point. And we've got the story so firmly anchored between 1975 and 77. Yes, it's pre-K9. That it feels exquisitely real. It feels like some of the best Big Finish feels like there's a TV on in another room. But the Philip Hinchcliffe stories actually feel like you are not watching an episode. Like it's been recorded by someone and you've managed to track down a bootleg copy of something you missed. Yes, the Genesis Chamber probably wouldn't have been the title when it finally made it to TV. It's too close to Genesis of the Daleks. But then again, how many episodes of Doctor Who have got the word death in? So let's not really go down that road. Now, this title was released in September 2016 and will only be available from Big Finish website until October the 31st, so until November 2016. After that, it'll be on general sale, and you'll probably be able to track it down. I know that many of the international listeners to this podcast are having trouble with the increased postage from Big Finish and probably trying to seek it out from a different source. However, there is of course always the digital download option. Remember, when there was about 50 CDs from Big Finish to collect, it looked great on a shelf, but now there are simply hundreds, and it could take up a whole wall very easily. But that's not important. What is important is how good is this story. Here's the synopsis. The TARDIS has landed on a human colony world. In the city, where the inhabitants rely on advanced technology to create their children, a marriage is due to take place, but not everyone supports it, and a crash might just prevent it for good. In the commune outside live the savages, shunned and detested by the city folk, but they have recently been visited by a man, charismatic, handsome, who may yet be their saviour or their doom. 2 different sides ready for conflict, but neither realises that a third force threatens their very existence. Now, one of the things that died off during Philip Hinchcliffe's time was the 6-parter. Well, here is a last gasp attempt at bringing it back. And with a 6-parter, you've got some fairly standard rules. 1 overriding narrative arc. But the story itself usually fits into a 4 or a 2-part, and then they can be locked together. Talon's Windchime's a perfect example of this, because of the way everything fits together. But seriously, on audio, you don't need to do that because of the constraints. But if you do that on audio, it ends up feeling more real, more of its time, more fake, I'll grant you, but it still fits beautifully. The Genesis Chamber itself, the battle for it, is definitely something that takes place in the latter half of the story. The first half is more of a society at war with itself storyline. Yes, it's got similarities to, well, The Maker of Demons, which is also out this month, and in many respects, it's also got flashes, moments of Planet X from the Bernice Summerfield box sets. But that's because Doctor Who deals with definite themes. Themes we can live with. Themes that we've been dealing with for years. One of the things that is most worthy of note are the performances from the other cast. Jon Culshaw's turned up in this, and he's so good, and he's so not Jon Culshaw as to make you go, this guy needs to be in more stuff. Yes, we've always known he's a voice man, but we've also had that shadow of Culshaw underneath up most of his impressions. Not here. It takes until, well, part 5 for me to go, oh yeah, that's Jon. Everyone in this is strong and has a great performance. And yes, I'd like to know more about what was going on. It's a 3-disc set, with of course extras. It's a massive undertaking. And for anyone who's been listening to the Tom Baker Fourth Doctor adventure stories and going, this is lovely, but it just feels too rushed and there's not enough of it, then buy this. Because this is paced wonderfully. It's a massive story. It feels huge. Yes, I don't want to talk about the other third party that's mentioned in the synopsis just yet because that's a spoiler. And you know what? That's fine. Here's the trailer and I'll let you decide for yourself. So until next time, when we're probably going to be talking about Doctor Who, be seeing you.
Coming soon from Big Finish Productions.
Inscape, our guide and friend. Hear my plea. Save my children.
Philip Hinchcliffe presents Doctor Who, The Genesis Chamber.
Good morning, Newton City. Today, we celebrate as President DeRosa Janz renews his pledge to uphold decency and citizenship in our beautiful colony.
You brought these in here. Look at her. The girl's no better than a savage.
What could be better than a savage?
I'm sorry. That identity is not recognized. You are a threat to the colony.
What are you, Doctor? Explain yourself.
Have you been listening to me? Your village defenses wouldn't stop a current bomb. Now get out of my way. I'm going to find Leela.
All city systems are under attack. Please remain in your seats.
Presidential override. Open up!
Loyyo, stop it! We should never have come!
You are a Time Lord. You travel through time and relative dimensions in space.
You have no right, no right, no right!
Doctor, your history is alarming.
Big Finish. We love stories.
That was the Doctor Who Tin Dog podcast, available on iTunes, YouTube, Twitter, RSS, Vimeo, and across the internet. Doctor Who and its associated properties are all copyright and trademark of the BBC. No infringement is intended. Why not become a supporter by visiting patreon.com/tindog. Contact the show on tin-dog@hotmail.co.uk. The Tin Dog podcast is a founder member of the Doctor Who Podcast Alliance.